All right, everybody. Welcome. I hope everyone's been enjoying the Mother Weekend so far. My name is Temple. I'll be your host this evening for the EarthBound Boogey Percent Finals. We do this every year. This year we've got ClassicJames and PeenTrain. And you may be asking yourself, what's Boogey Percent? What's going on here? And that's when I hand things off to commentary. We're featuring Airfram and Crimson Green for the first race here. How's it going, guys?
Doing good. It's nice and cold. A nice night for some boogie.
Having a good time here, warming up next to the computer heat, and excited to comment this race as we race towards the boogie tent.
Yep. So just in case you were coming in hot from yesterday with the EarthBound, the Mother EarthBound and Mother 3 series, this is going to be EarthBound, and it's the Boogie Percent, so it's the race category. So these runners are racing as fast as they can to Boogie Tent, which is about a third-ish through the game. Should take a little over an hour, but we're doing best out of 3, so it should be a good time. And we want to talk a little bit about how these runners got here. They both got here pretty different ways.
Yeah, we can talk a little bit about that. So starting back in the beginning of October, as we got a minute and 8 seconds here with the game starting, there was 28 participants that survived the seeding group. 20 of them advanced the bracket, 16 for sure, 4 of them in a wild card round. From there, PeenTrain, she was seeded number 10, I believe, and ClassicJames was seeded number 1?
Number 1?
Yeah, number 1. And they had to fight their way through brackets. It's a single elimination up to here we are now in best 2 of 3 match.
Yeah, and we were looking at it a little earlier. ClassicJames has just been cruising through both we did a Swiss round of 4, and ClassicJames had several 105s and 106. PeenTrain was just kind of all over the place, but here we are in the finals, and PeenTrain is not just this isn't a fluke. PeenTrain, she has been running EarthBound for a while, and she's one of the up and coming people, and she's got a lot of it's gonna be good. It's gonna be good, that's for sure.
As we get started here, this is basically first 4 minutes is kind of just get familiar with the game intro. There's nothing to worry about. You can get your weapon, equip it early, and walk up the hill to our best friend and neighbor pal, Pokey. He tells you to buzz off, and then you go back home. This is a great way to get familiar with the controls without being harassed by enemies right off the bat.
Yep, and some runners here decide that they're going to do this first uphill without getting the crackbat. Both these runners decided to get the crackbat, so nothing to see here other than walking up and down the hill.
It looks like most of them are following the traditional, what we would call maniped route, which is kind of sometimes hard to erase from your memory after doing it for so many times. It's a fairly efficient path and consistent as you make your way around and just walk back. So it's not necessarily the quickest route, but it's consistent.
Yep. Usually most runners getting through there, unless they get stuck on something, in about 2 minutes, 40 seconds. Both runners are basically neck and neck, but RNG hasn't been a cruel mistress yet.
And now we will start finding out what RNG has for us. With Tracy
after some more cutscenes, you know, as cutscene as EarthBound can be.
Yeah. One of the things I'm excited to see is who's going to go behind the couch or in front of the couch. It's a minor optimization to go behind the couch to the phone, but it's not necessary in any way, because if you get stuck, it's slower.
first, before we go out on our adventure, we have to go change our clothes. Get out of these pajamas, which is a whole other category, pajama percent.
It'd be fun to watch Boogey% in PJs, except for the fact that it's not normally possible.
So yeah, not normally possible because in this category, there's no manipulation, no glitches allowed. It's basically just glitchless, getting as fast as you can to Boogey. So James going behind the couch, PeenTrain also going behind the couch. James got stuck there just for a split second.
And right now, no one's bringing the dog along.
Oh, I was the only one who did that. I was so sad because no one even recognized that I took the dog in commentary. There's nothing to see here. So PeenTrain despawning some dogs there, while James just goes back in and gets through pretty quick. Still, he has to despawn some dogs. So you want to try and not get into any fights here on the cell. Ooh, Sarah brought the dog too. I didn't realize that. But yeah, the dog you don't want to bring. Peen was trying to dodge that snake by doing what's called stutter stepping. So you just tap the direction really fast, and there's you can tap twice and basically get away from those snakes. But as ClassicJames showed there, PeenTrain, she was not as successful.
Yeah, this will be a bit of a jerk for both runners here.
Totally.
Another snake.
Another snake.
No one bringing the snake up for a death warp, though.
PeenTrain with that 14 HP, if she brought up a snake, that would be a bad strategy.
Only thing is you don't get the money from Starman Jr. then to buy your equipment for the rest of the category.
That's true, but you saved that minute and a half, so it's worth it.
Beat up the sharks.
Never mind that you have to then beat up some sharks. Never mind that. Details.
Who needs details? We're here for video. Oh!
PeenTrain.
Light flashing.
PeenTrain is glitching. Invalid.
she has a second controller plugged into her console or emulator and is pressing, I think, the select button to move it up and down.
Yeah. Yeah, that's the fun thing about EarthBound. You can actually play the game with two controllers. Both of them control exactly the same thing. So I know on my runs, if I'm turbo is allowed in this category, so I have a turbo controller plugged into the second player port, so I can just have that in front of me and use that to skip through a lot of dialogue fast without having to worry about mashing through it and wrecking my hands. You can play with your friends. Exactly, Temple. Exactly.
That would be an interesting category to introduce. 2 players, 1 game.
2P, 1G. Yep. So ClassicJames on the first really major RNG other than spawns on the hill. So Starman can either hit you with fire, hit you with freeze, or be on guard. You don't want to see fires because that takes more time, and you don't want to see him be on guard from BuzzBuzz attacks because he could hit for about 37. He has 200 HP, so that's it's going to take a while if you get some low rolls. And BuzzBuzz hit 63 on both of his attacks, so that's not a great start for ClassicJames. To see what PeenTrain gets. She gets a charge forward, which is kind of a strong attack hit, anywhere between about 100 and 150. So that's what James is going to be looking for on BuzzBuzz's next turn to get out of this fight.
Yeah, we've got a lot of fires coming across both players here. That's
Yep.
Oh, ooh, a nice 107 to finish off. Too bad that wasn't early on.
Right. But if Peen gets and there it is, the 35 with Starman on guard. That's not what you want to see. So if you get really unlucky, I guess it could take 5 cycles to get through Starman. just happens to guard, and Buzz
There we
Buzz
go.
does his light attack every time.
Yeah, just relying on Buzz Buzz to be consistent is just frustrating at times.
Right. So now we get our first death in the game. Poor Buzz Buzz. All he wanted to do was just say hi to Pokey and Picky's mom.
One of the things I've kind of wondered about is what happens if we were to be able to take Buzz Buzz from here? Would it be a net loss or a net gain with the shield coming out every other turn?
Yep.
But the damage that comes with it.
Yep. So actually, what was I playing? Somehow I was able to take Buzz Buzz out. It might have been one of the early randomizers. Before the key item randomizer before PK Strand 1. It's helpful to a point, because, you know, taking him into some early fights is helpful, but overall it's kind of a net loss after a while. And you just go and get him killed anyway.
Yeah, once you start dealing that level of damage by yourself, it's no longer helpful.
Yep, because he's getting that shield every other turn and just wasting time.
ClassicJames being chased by the zoo.
By the
And
zoo.
moving on it.
Let's see if PeenTrain can get through the zoo without any casualties. PeenTrain still has to make up a little bit of HP that she lost in that fight with the snake.
I wonder if she's going to use the bread roll early, or you go for the can of fruit juice and use that before the first shark battle.
So we see ClassicJames going and getting that one-of-a-kind Mr. Baseball cap that your friend there says you always wanted, and we're just going to go turn around and sell it. One-of-a-kind baseball cap. So question from Chad, does Boogey percent skip the police? No, actually, Boogey percent is glitchless, so no skipping the police. You can do some things where you can have some spawns from the sharks and make the barrier disappear because you have too many sprites on screen. So that is considered a glitch, so that is not allowed in Boogey percent.
Yeah, no glitch, no manipulation in this category. Alright, we got James swinging out wide to try and make sure the sharks don't spawn walking in. And, oh, we got a bonus shark over there.
Bonus shark. So we sold that baseball cap, as we see on PeenTrain's screen, because that baseball cap's worth $99, and the baseball cap, the regular baseball cap, only has one less defense for $19. So that gives us enough money to buy the T-ball bat, the cheat bracelet, and the baseball cap. So we gain a net of, I think, about 5 defense for just trading that in. So PeenTrain going and getting the trash juice and using that to make up some of that lost HP. So we fight these sharks here. These the first two are going to be Pogo Punks. Pogo Punks have a 100% drop of hamburgers, which are going to come in as a nice little safety net, plus the experience you get from them really, really helps in both the Frank and the Frankie side fight. And then we have to beat the Yes Man Jr., the Hula Hoop Man, Hula Hoop Dude. It's blocking the door. ClassicJames taking him down easy. PeenTrain not too far behind. Really, that snake is pretty much the only difference for each one, and PeenTrain taking that bread roll early. So Frank, you want to see him talk dirty, say something nasty to you, lower your guts. You don't want to see him brandish that knife. But James just keeping track of his HP, knowing exactly how much HP Frank had. If Ness would have missed there, which Ness does tend to miss a lot, if Ness would have missed there, that would have been dangerous for ClassicJames, but he takes the chance.
Yeah, would have been relying on a miss at that point, or the attack going off first, hoping it lands.
Yep.
Frankenstein Mark II here is a scripted fight, as in every other turn, the tank is going to attack, and the first attack that comes your way is guaranteed to be the soft hit. After that, it's going to be random, whether it's a strong hit or a soft hit, and from there, it's a matter of HP management and counting down the enemy's HP, and James is done at 1340.
Yep. And PeenTrain just going into that Frankenstein Mark II fight, which always begs the question, what happened to Frankenstein Mark I? I have my own theories, but it's an interesting question to think about. Interesting thought exercise.
Mark II and Mark I fought it out, is my theory.
My theory is that the clumsy robot was actually Mark I, and Frank kicked him out because he was just too clumsy. Made his way to Foreside, and Monotoli saw the potential in the clumsy robot, eating that bologna sandwich that doesn't actually do anything.
That's a much better theory. I'm just gonna go back.
He was able to make it through 3 tunnel because the ghosts are like, I don't know what this is. So PeenTrain making it through the Frankenstein fight, pretty easy as well. See if either runner decides to go burgerless. This is pretty risky strats for a tournament, but with a best 2 out of 3, I could see either or both of them going burgerless for the first round.
Crimson, why would you make the risky decision to not buy any healing items with a boss coming up that is known to potentially wreck your life in 2 turns?
Because RNG can be RNG. And neither runner had to use any hamburgers from the in the Frank fight, so you'll have at least 3 if you go burgerless. But it looks like James is taking out some money to buy some burgers. It does save you a good amount of time, and you can always rely on that 1 out of 128 drop of bombs from the slugs.
I don't know. I think that mark of the slug is a curse when you receive it.
You're not wrong. You are not wrong. You think it would be a good thing being able to throw a bomb at an ant, but anecdotally, no, it is not.
The ant might just chuck it right back at you.
The ant's like, I'm just gonna bite you even harder now. So yeah, neither runners are opting to go burgerless this time. Maybe whoever wins the first match will go burgerless in round 2, but who knows?
Yeah, could
Just
be.
posturing. Just posturing.
That's a good thought, though. So the one and only grinding segment of the game here, we're looking to get to level 8 to get Rockin' Alpha. That way we have a chance of removing Titanic Ant without too many issues, if we're lucky.
Yep. So we're gonna have to beat up 22 ants, or 22 slugs here. Not ants, slugs. Attack slugs, people. So they usually don't hit very hard. They can hit, I think I've seen people and myself get hit for 5 hit points a time if your defense is low, but typically it's 4. And James getting another 4-pack pretty quick, and PeenTrain getting 1 as she moves in through the cave on the way. And that spot that ClassicJames is at right now is a nice spot because you can actually get that mouse stuck on the wall and another mouse won't spawn. So the only other thing that could spawn there are some slugs. So that seems to be the strategy that a lot of runners are opting to do. So there's 12 for ClassicJames.
They're just flying in.
Yeah. These slugs are like, hey, what's going on, guys?
All right.
I want to see a world record in the tournament.
Each runner killed so far, because I haven't kept count.
So this is 12 for James, and this is 8 for PeenTrain.
I will say correct.
I didn't see what
you tell me in the moment.
So there's 4 more for Classic James, so that's 16 for him already. Yeesh. So we'll see. I imagine, James, so there's a chance that a 6-pack of slugs could spawn in the 3rd floor, so like I said, you need 22 slugs, so 16 is 4 packs plus a 6-pack is exactly what you need. PeenTrain now getting 12, so the slugs are spawning all over the place. Both runners got a smash, so you kind of know what their attack. You know exactly what their attack is. I didn't see what Classic James got on the level up, but PeenTrain got 1, so means her attack is 20.
He's getting lucky that wasn't an Antoid on that shelf.
Right. So now James just needs 2 enemies. Any 2 enemies will do. The PeenTrain is probably an ant. And it's a back attack. Definitely an ant because...
Well, mouse coming up from the floor below.
Who knew that mice can climb ropes? So this is another 4-pack of slugs for PeenTrain, so puts her at 20, I believe. And James not getting very good RNG here as the ants just keep calling for help. It's not what you want to see. And Ness is missing.
Keeps missing.
But he's able to run away, so ooh, that would have been, if he was not able to run away, that probably was going to be a wipe there and a large early lead for PeenTrain. So that sends you all the way back to your house, so that's not fun. So another ant slug duo here, which is good. The Antoid didn't call for help round 1, doesn't call for help round 2, so that should be level 8 for James.
It looks like
offense up by 2. I did not see what his level 7 offense was, but you're looking for the magic number of 24. Makes things a little bit easier, a little bit safer, because if your offense is 24, you will automatically win against the Antoids, which tend to spawn in the last 2 rooms on your way. So makes it a little bit safer, because if you have 1, you can try and stutter away from them, and if you can't, well, you just take the attack and it's to win.
It looks like James doesn't have enough.
Yeah, don't imagine he would have taken that stutter if he didn't have enough. Which this is. Ooh. Red swirl, not good. He only has 25 psychic points, so that's not giving him a lot of wiggle room either. PeenTrain learning TSI rocking. Yep. That was good. Just using a burger. So he's got a
double pack, James.
Oh! James not having fun here. That second Antoid was just hiding exactly on the rock, so I don't know if he saw that until he started moving.
I think he did, because he went up first instead of going straight left.
Yeah. But this could be bad news. Good thing the Antoid try and life up. That gives him an extra round. I'll try and get away. There we go. He's able to get away. Probably going to use another burger. PeenTrain going for the... Nope, not getting the present burger. So James having to use 2 burgers on the way. It's not ideal, but also not the end of the world. So like Airframe said earlier, this this Titanic ant fight is not fun. I think I looked at the stats of my splits, and I think this is the split that I've reset on the most.
Titanic Ant has 235 HP, so we're trying to hope that the Rockin' gets, I don't know, I average hope for 160, 180 damage.
Yep.
And to survive at the same time.
Yep.
Ant can do anywhere between 23 to 40 damage, or can smash for around 60. Yep. It's quite nasty.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and you could do everything right and still lose, like what James is. James has 0 psychic points. Got lucky there. If the ant would have attacked on either one of those last 2, he would have been done. But James makes it through.
I'm sitting here.
He's like, I cannot afford to use any more burgers. James definitely YOLO'd hard there.
And Peen
PeenTrain
is
catching
out
up.
as well. You notice we haven't really mentioned much about a runner being in the lead just because it's been so insignificant so far, and really won't be able to tell till the runners are out of ONET if there's any real advantage.
Unless one of them dies. if James would have died there to Ant, PeenTrain would have been firmly in the lead there, but anything can happen. Dying here is not fun. Dying to the cops or strong, not fun, because then you have to go and fight all the cops again, even if you already beat them. So that's never a fun thing. PeenTrain's in a little bit better shape going into this cop fight because I don't think PeenTrain used any burgers. She did. It was only a couple where James had to use a couple going in, and I don't know if he has any left.
No, those 2 burgers he had to eat early on came to bite him in those last 2 turns.
Yep. So James might go and stock up on burgers again.
If he does have more left, I would be... Well, actually, I wouldn't be surprised, but that would be really risky then.
Yep. Okay. Mozzie's, I trust you, Mozzie. I trust that he has 2 left. He was just chancing it. He did not.
Oh, he's going right for it.
Yep.
Maybe he did with that idea then.
He did not get 105s and 106s for no reason, so he knows what he's doing.
And PeenTrain skipping as well.
Yep. I matched up with ClassicJames in round 2 of the Swiss and got defeated very soundly, even though I think I was close to my PB. I take it back. I was nowhere close to my PB.
The backtracking.
James is down to 2 burgers. He's down to 2 burgers.
Anywhere under around 52, 55 HP is when you start considering healing, or if you want to push it for a life up.
Yep.
The cops having 5 speed at this point make it so that you're about the same speed, and that's why the outspeeding goes back and forth between the 2 characters, and that's why this is so annoying.
James is hoping for some burger drops here, and not some dodges.
It's a 1 in 8 chance to get the burger.
Burger for James. So I had to use 2 life ups. Which again, not the end of the world if you have to use some more life ups before strong, but it's definitely not ideal for sure. Yeah, like Temple's saying, he had no intention of buying more burgers. It's like I would rather die than go buy more burgers. So I think they're still just about neck and neck. PeenTrain in a little bit better shape because she has 20 psychic points, so she could still use 2 rockets on strong. Where James is gonna have to use a life up and then hope that the rocket doesn't miss.
Yeah. The good thing is he's using those life ups very, very well, but now he's at real bad HP.
Yep. PeenTrain also not the best HP, but PeenTrain is down to no burgers as well. But I think she's in a little bit better shape. 20 psychic points. Well, James only has 12. Boom. That's
Oh,
not what you
good
want to
call
see
on
on
the
that
life
first
up.
turn. Right. If he doesn't life up there, it is it's over. This is the first round. This is the first of the three, so it is indeed 0-0. So 102, and this should do it for PeenTrain as long as it doesn't miss.
28-41.
James is just hoping for the best at this point, which pays
And
off.
28-46.
They're basically even at this point. Yeah, best 2 of 3. So this isn't the second of 3. It's best 2 of 3. Let's see what that would be.
And with them being 5 seconds apart, this is an exciting race right now. Leave no net. Alright, as we head down here, we're gonna probably pick up the burger along the way, since all the items were spent on cops. Need
Yep.
to feed Apple Kid something.
Gotta
Mice don't
feed the
work,
Apple
and your
Kid.
ATM card doesn't work.
Unfortunately not. And the broken item you get out of the trash can, also not something he is going to eat.
But a salt packet will work.
A salt packet or a ketchup packet will work, as well as an IQ capsule. Or any of the other capsules. Here you go. Here you go, Apple Kid. Hope your luck changes. Here's a luck capsule. Both runners taking out little over $500 or more, saving here, setting up for the death warp later. So in EarthBound, if you die, you get sent to the last place you saved, or depending on, there's certain other times where it'll send you back if you didn't save. Like when Jeff comes back from Winters into Threed, if you die, you're not going to get sent back to Winters if you saved. You'll get sent back to Threed. But we're going to use that to our advantage a little bit later so that we don't have to walk through Peaceful Rest Valley after we rescue Paula. So they're both setting up for that.
I was
Both of
curious
them
if
getting
any
the-
of them were going to attempt a Vogler and save
Yep.
at the bus station, but since they saved in the department store, it doesn't look like we're going to be seeing that this round.
Nope. So for those who are new or not familiar with the Vogler strat, so it's a strat that came up with where you save in the bus station. That's a little bit south that we're going to see PeenTrain go right past now, right there where that shady looking guy with the top hat, that's the bus station. So you can save there. And then as you're in Peaceful Rest Valley, right before you go to Happy Village, you can go south and get a couple life noodles so that when you die, you don't have to go to the hospital. You can just use the couple life noodles on Paula, because Paula needs to be alive to go talk to her dad. So for some reason,
Can't see the ghost. Come on. This wonderful set of caves here is just despawn fun. If they don't clear out, you just have to go back and forth between the rooms. You can avoid some spawns coming up into this area of Peaceful Rest Valley by sticking pretty close to the ledges and avoid some of the spawn plates. And when you reach the pencil statue, you don't actually have to see it. You just have to pass that one patch of grass and turn yourself around, and the game says, yeah, I saw it. You did too.
barely. It was on the screen for a frame. Part of it was. A pixel of it was on the screen for a frame. That counts. Just all that we can't get through. So we see both runners not having the best luck here, going in and out of this cave.
And it's worse going outside to inside with the music transition. You lose just a little bit more time when you have to transition between musics.
So now Apple Kid is calling us on that phone that can only receive calls but not make calls. You know, How old's Nest supposed to be? 12? These days, your phone needs to be able to send texts. So
It's like the old iPods that were hacked to use messages. James finding a butterfly nice and early.
Makes Peaceful Earth Valley a little bit less stressful. And the hippie. Get out of here, hippie. We don't want no hippie manippy here. This is Earthbound, not Mother. So now we are getting the incredibly powerful pencil eraser.
What does it do? I wonder.
It erases pencils conveniently. What was blocking our path? A pencil.
A pencil. PeenTrain getting her own butterfly right there, so that's good to have going in. Less worry about PRV, more ability to use Rocket if you're in a sticky situation.
Sticky. Yep. Plus, you're able to use a life up, and you don't want to go into any fight with the HP that you had left over from Strong. That's for sure. Especially because some of these enemies in Peaceful Rest Valley are not so friendly.
Yeah, let's see if I could pull up some of the stats. I don't have all these stats that I've been saying memorized. I've been using the EarthBound Super Series bot to find this stuff out.
Yep. So one of the worst enemies you can encounter here is the UFO. The thing about any of the UFOs in this game, their speed stat is really, really high, and so that makes running away more difficult. That makes PSI rocking more difficult to hit. So that's not what you want to see. There's the spinning robot that can cause you to be sick. There's the trees that can explode after you beat them. There's the mushrooms, which no one wants to get a mushroom on top of their head. Bad news bears. And then the sprouts can just keep calling for help, and like we saw with the antoids, that's never fun.
Fortunately,
I think that might have covered
a little easier to run away.
Yep. I think I covered all the enemies here from memory.
Yeah.
That just means I've played Earthbound way too much.
On a technicality is the crow.
Ah, this. The crows appearing by the cabin. Crows also not super fun, because they are also super fast and can steal any of your food items.
Fast for no reason at all.
Fast for just being a troll. And there were some of our friends on ClassicJames. So ClassicJames making it through, and PeenTrain might be in some trouble here. And she was able to despawn that sprout, so that's a good thing. And the weird snake that is somehow aggroing you for whatever reason.
To give everyone a taste of the speed, the Spiteful Crow has 77 speed right there at the beginning of the game.
Yep.
For no reason other than to be the third fastest enemy.
Yeah, I was gonna say, I think it's second or third fastest enemy in Earthbound.
Just so spiteful. And I guess technically there are there's the cultists are also in the valley for one scripted fight. Yeah, scripted.
Technically.
Technically.
As I'm pushing up my glasses, technically.
Then do you count Pokey too at that point?
Yeah, because you don't fight him. You can't fight him, even if you wanted to. technically.
Okay.
So here's another scripted fight against two cultists and a crow, and you cannot run away from this fight. So the cultists have a special flag on them that says, "Hey, you can't run away from cultists because they didn't want you running away from this fight." Which means if you fight when you fight cultists outside of this scripted fight, you also can't run away from them, unfortunately. So both runners having to use double rockins, which is not ideal, but
And you can
again,
see the crow
since that crow is so fast, PSI rockin also usually more often than not doesn't hit.
just says nope.
Nope.
Try again.
Your psychic powers are no match for me because I am all that is crow. I got my sunglasses. PeenTrain happened to despawn some cultists there, and ClassicJames going to the free stand, digging deep for the fresh egg and a banana. We might see some banana strats.
Oh.
Yeah, this is for both runners are having a pretty even amount of RNG. I don't feel like one has had better RNG than the other, so it just goes to show you how. Yeah, it just goes to show kind of how great both these runners are. Like, it's no accident that these are in the finals.
Oh no, come on, stay away. We don't want any cultists to join this fight.
Yeah, not ideal. I believe Octopus Cow is the world record holder right now.
You asked that for any category, I believe that is the answer.
Yeah, I believe Octopus Cow has. I'm pulling it up right now. So, EarthBound Boogey percent, Octopus Cow. Boogey percent for Mother 2, Octopus Cow. Mother 2 Pajama percent, Octopus Cow. EarthBound Pajama percent, Octopus Cow. Any percent no out of bounds, EarthBound, Octopus Cow. Mother 2, Octopus Cow. Any percent debug menu, EarthBound, Octopus Cow. Mother 2, Octopus Cow. Any percent photos for both Mother 1 and Mother 2 and EarthBound, Octopus Cow. Any percent EarthBound.
Crimson, we can bring it back to Mr. Carpenter now. It's okay.
Okay. Yeah, basically all that to say, Octopus Cow holds the record in every category for both EarthBound and Mother 2, the Japanese counterpart. So, but since both runners are on,
That was the cookie right there. 6 HP. Knowing that this is a scripted fight, that everything happens in a very specific moveset, he can pull that off and leaves with 6 HP.
Yep. So having low HP is huge for this fight. You don't want to have a ton of HP because here comes the Death Warp that I was talking about earlier. So that's why we saved back in Tucson.
No.
Ooh, and PeenTrain taking the L. So that's tough because PeenTrain is now all the way back to Tucson. So she has to go all the way back through PRV to fight Car Painter. So not what you want to see there.
Yeah, she tried to use the banana to get low HP like James did with the cookie, and just couldn't get the lightning reflex off enough to deal enough damage.
Yep. Yeah, this is not a great place. This is, like RJ is saying, probably the worst place to die in this game, unfortunately. It's up there with dying to strong.
Or Cave Boy at the end of that winter sequence.
Yeah, that's true. Who dies to Cave? Honestly.
Me.
I can honestly say, I'm pretty sure in all of my Earthbound runs, I've never died to the cave boy as Jeff, but there's still time. It's Classic James just going through and gonna take a nice easy death warp here, hopefully. So intentionally taking that back attack from the mole. Hopefully the mole is gonna scratch. There it is, scratching with Paula, so that's good. Now you can just defend and 2 turns. James making it look easy.
The only other death warp I would have been more impressed by was a crow death warp at that point.
Yep.
Which is possible with that low HP.
Yeah. I tried to do crow death warp. I think it was in brackets and it did not work out well for me. I think I only had 8 HP. The crow just kept trying to steal stuff every turn.
I think you need like 2 of them in the fight or something to make it worthwhile.
Yeah. I don't want to say it. I think I had 2, but I just think I had the worst luck ever. All that to say, James, good job on making the mole do what you wanted it to do. Somehow.
Good news on PeenTrain's side is she's moving real fast back through PRV, and not like the first time around that was getting stuck a couple times. She's just flying through.
Yep. Except here, Pincer Valley here. That's not what you want to see, but not the worst in the world. Ooh, not good. That is not good at all.
Gonna have to make a choice.
Yep.
Or not.
Or not. I guess both of those enemies just went up. Despawned themselves. James now going to Everdread, which you don't have to fight, thankfully, because you have Paula, so he's just like, hey, I think I sprained my ankle. Here's $10,000 that I can't keep for some reason.
Another 182 HP fight that you would have to take with someone who wants to stab you.
Stabby. But he's actually just a cockroach in disguise, though. And Karen getting in the way.
Come on, Janet.
I say that he's a cockroach in disguise because he has the same moveset as the filthy cockroach in Saturn Valley. Or
really?
Maybe that maybe the Saturn Valley, maybe the roach was trained by Everdread.
I didn't even realize that.
You're checking me, aren't you? You're fact checking me.
I am fact checking me here.
I know you're fact checking me.
The only thing is I can't remember the specific name of the cockroach out there.
I think it's the filthy cockroach. Oh, that's not it. So PeenTrain having a little bit better luck here. She's at least going to get out of this fight at this point.
Meanwhile, we got one of my favorite tracks playing, the Runaway 5. Good chill music.
PeenTrain making it out with 55 HP.
And the big HP boost. Alright, let me break chat. We've got a little discussion we need to have here. One of the traditions in our races is to talk about what side of the bus we're going to take. And there's a couple of choices. There's a couple right ones, there's a wrong one. But it's all a personal choice. You can go to the right side of the bus. You can go to the left side of the bus. You can go down into the photo trigger and do down bus. Or if you're crazy, you can go up and around the building and do an up bus. What bus would you vote for?
Left
Classic
bus.
James to take.
All day, every day. And I was totally wrong. They don't have the same attack attacks, but they at least can each furrow their brow or whatever. Knit one's brow, there it is.
You fact-checked yourself on that one.
I did. I don't want to mislead the next generation of EarthBound speedrunners, so. But the fact that, they're similar. PeenTrain has a ton of bananas. She was not taking any chances.
I'm just gonna ignore what side James picked right there. I'm a left bus fan.
Left bus, only bus.
I will take the time lost for fun and memes every time, but not every time.
There is also the turbo left bus.
Hunter's in chat. Hunter can explain that one.
Turbo left, I say. Yes, indeed. PeenTrain going after the same death warp there. Paula goes down early. PeenTrain is using the ATM card. Because that makes it so that, you don't have to defend. That'll cut the attack in half, basically, the damage. So that's not ideal.
Unfortunately.
PeenTrain was up to 80 HP, got a nice HP bump from that car painter level, but the mole was able to cut through that anyway.
Alright, so PeenTrain is going to do the same sequence that James just finished. So feel free to start getting your votes in for the bus now as we focus on James walking through the graveyard here. This area can be a little bit dangerous going through with the flies that like to zoom in on you. You can walk some lines like the one that James just took to minimize spawn plates, but you can risk it up above or down below depending on where you walk.
Yep.
Or just have no risk at all like that and just fly right through.
Yep. As ClassicJames tends to do. So now he's going after the nice lady there, and as James just showed off some swag, you can talk to that nice lady. She'll turn around and stop and just say, "Nothing to see here. No problem."
NPH.
No problem. Cool ball saying right bus because they're a basic B. Taking that right bus though, a couple pixels off and you're getting a fuzzy pickle. Which we have not seen any fuzzy pickles here.
Phrasing.
There's still time. Still time.
Plenty of time. If EarthBound was a modern game, I could see the game just cutting off in the graveyard there saying, "Oh well, too bad, you gotta download this DLC to continue." For another $60.
Now PeenTrain on her way to the concert. Got to watch the Runaway 5 before you can set them free. And of course, even though you have a backstage pass, you can't get through the dressing room without to get to Lucy here. James also opting not to get any of the cookies. What a guy. Leaving for Tony's birthday party.
This sequence here, this one gets under my skin. Maxwell here is a very, very cool dude that wears goggles and has a key for you to open up lockers. So you go to unlock the locker, the key doesn't fit, it doesn't work, it's bent, it's broken, you go back, you complain. It didn't work. He says, ha ha ha, I knew that was gonna happen.
I figured that.
Take this thing.
The machine that opens doors, especially when you have a slightly bad key, that only works on the lockers next door and one other door in a faraway land.
Just give you the bad key machine to start with.
Right.
You only use it twice.
But you can't
You don't need
appreciate the bad
conveyance.
key machine. You can't appreciate the bad key machine if you don't have a bad key.
You can appreciate it if you have no key, because the other one has no key.
What's the official artwork for the bad key machine? It's something like totally. Is it just like a tape measure on a keychain or something?
Yeah, with a bunch of keys, I think.
Yeah,
Just give me a
that's the
crowbar.
official art. Right. It's a tape measure with a key ring going through the middle of it with a bunch of keys on it. So it's like, what is that? What is actually? It's the actual key to the locker. It's just a non-bank key that somehow works on the door that your friends are held hostage behind.
It must be a locker door.
They must have
shut
got
in
that
the
door
locker.
from Winters.
Oh, alright. Time to chill out. Time to chill out. Good thing we got Tessie coming up.
Good thing we got Tessie Hyde coming up.
Another right side bus.
Right bus. Wrong bus.
So as long as we avoid the photo trigger coming up here, time for our MS Paint Beast of Love. The Earthbound Loch Ness Monster, Tessie.
The
If
old
you got a
Earth
Tessie
beast.
emote of some kind, let's fill the chat up with them.
And we will keep your ears nice and open by not trying our best to recreate the trumpet. Only RJ can do that.
Not to interrupt the piece, but PeenTrain has a loaded graveyard there. Oh, that's Skip sandwich though.
The Skippy.
Getting that fly stuck, that was a good move. Although she might not. Yeah, here it comes. That's all right if she takes a death. Not gonna be bad.
If she dies, she dies.
Everyone's favorite enemy on ClassicJames screen, the worthless protoplasm. Can kill you pretty easily in just a couple turns if it decides to go all on you.
Just
It
because.
did not call for help, and James walks away with all of his health.
You know, PeenTrain, that was kind of best case scenario for that fight where the no good fly kills Paula, so she's not going to gain several levels there and lose some time, and Ness is just able to bash it out. So that was kind of best case scenario for PeenTrain.
fire stats, or fire strats, not stats, strats.
It's Classic James being able to skip that duck, getting him in a position where he's not going to aggro you, but isn't able to pull off the second proto skip, which is pretty much only dependent on what Bubble Monkey decides to do or not do. But he was able to make it out. It's pretty smooth sailing. Not the best case scenario, but also he's got a lot of wiggle room. Since Peen took that death to Car Painter.
Ideally in Pond Cave, you're not going to be in any encounter, so there's no reason to talk to Brick Road.
Right.
Or just have no enemies until you don't need to worry about stuttering at all here.
Right. So the first little room there is kind of the most important to not get any spawns, because then you don't have to go through the door transition. And that saves you a significant amount of time when you're having to despawn enemies. So Classic James 2 for 2 on the rooms, but Bubble Monkey coming in the clutch there with the back attack on those slugs. So he's going to be able to run away first turn and have some iframes to play around there. James just showing off some stuttering there. That is not the screen cutting in and out. That is actually James stutter stepping. Again, James having a clean first room, so that's really the important thing, because like you saw there, you can quickly despawn enemies in that second room if you don't have anything in the first room. So James having some pretty good RNG there in the Pond Cave, which means PeenTrain is not going to have good RNG in the Pond Cave.
Yeah, now it's just going to come down to the final boss here, Boogey Tent, to see what it has in store for James.
Yep.
Fun fact here, these cave boys, you don't actually get to see them again. There are two different cave boys. The first time you come through, it has a lower amount of speed and is guaranteed to drop the picnic lunch every time. When you come back later on in the game, it is replaced by Cave Boy 2, which has a higher amount of speed and has a normal drop rate for whatever item it carries. I think it's a burger or something, but it is fairly standard.
Yep. It's Classic James going into the Sky Runner, so we get another cutscene break or bathroom break. It's a nice thing about speedrunning EarthBound is plenty of little cutscenes, 1 or 2 minute cutscenes, so you can get up, stretch, use the bathroom if it's close enough. You're not just stuck to your chair for the whole time. It's just nice.
It's one of the great things about this run is there's so many different cutscenes throughout it, including the full game run, where you're able to get out. The longest one being that 3-minute cutscene at the waterfall later on going into Belch's base.
Yes, indeed. Speed actually getting some good RNG there, not having to worry about despawning many goats or dogs. PeenTrain about to go to Tessie herself. So the Skyrunner is just gonna go take a nice scenic tour through Threed, nice dark Threed. Every once in a while it's gonna Cave Boy 2 Electric Boogaloo. I like that PeenTrain. Booga booga.
I see you again. So there's a couple of choices here now that James is coming in for the crash landing that the runners can make on their way to Bogey Tent. The first one is deciding whether or not going to pick up the teddy bear for the additional chance of avoiding a specific targeted attack. If you still have a skip sandwich, where to use it on the way down to Bogey Tent.
You could also say no to Jeff, and he'll just say, "Are you sure?" Like, you can just say, "No, I don't want to be your friend." He'll keep asking, "Hey, so you gonna be my friend?"
You asked me to come here. So there's the teddy bear.
James is
Gotta
probably
watch
gonna
out for.
stop.
Oh, there's
Watch out for snakes.
again. Watch out for enemies behind the sign. And zombie dogs down here.
Tricky enemies. Could be zombie dogs. Could be. I don't know if flies don't spawn in town. I don't think, but it could be the trick or treat kid or whatever the other name is. So Jeff with the 414, not quite enough to kill Boogie Tent, but also not terrible.
A
Should
double
be able
play
to
money
take
on the
it.
teddy bear. And that's it.
So James takes round 1.
I'm gonna be laying out another 105. It looks like.
Yep.
James the Beast staying within his time frame yet again.
Yep. Indeed.
So at this point, once James officially finishes, PeenTrain will have the option to finish out her run if she wishes. She can finish off Boogie Tent since she's not too far behind either. And then we'll set up for race number 2. Give the racers a couple minutes to reset themselves and prepare for the next round.
And you're going to be losing us and gaining I believe, a Hunter RNG and RJ Smangan. So you don't have to listen to us for a second race. How about that?
The greatest prize of all.
Not having to listen to these
105.50.
yahoos. So that's it's pretty par for the course for James here. His Swiss matches were all 105, 106. That's actually really close to his week 1 on Swiss. Looking at the playoff bracket, and James had a 107, a 105, and a 106. So that's kind of par for the course for him.
PeenTrain forfeited with that the fight there, so they're going to have the opportunity now to reset up. We're going to get a new race room together, and let's give them a 5-minute break. Temple, I don't know if you want to cut away for some music here or let our 2 wonderful step-in commentators join us in some fun for a couple minutes.
RJ is also an expert at singing, so he could entertain you with some EarthBound tunes as well. But I'm going to step away. Good luck to the runners. Good luck to the restreamer. Good luck to the commentators. Hopefully we have a best case scenario. PeenTrain takes round 2, so you guys can get all of the EarthBound all of the time. But I'm going to be stepping away, so we will see you guys. I'll see you guys later.
Thanks for joining, Crimson.
No problem. Thanks for having me, everyone. Thanks for a great tournament. Thanks for everyone tuning in RPG Limit Break. We'll see you guys next time.
Welcome back, everyone. We got the next match for the EBSS Finals. I'm Hunter, along with RJ Smingit. RJ, how's it going?
Pretty good. How are you doing?
I am good. I am excited for this. We've got the number 1 seed ClassicJames going up against the number 10 seed PeenTrain. We'll see if Peen can get a win here, and we can go to overtime.
I'm looking forward to it. The first race was very close.
Yes, up
with
until
the exception of the exception of the death, but up until that point, it was very tight.
Yeah, I feel like that was one of the closest races we've had, way up until Car Painter, where like everything I saw, the two runners were within like 10-15 seconds the whole time I saw it. So that is awesome.
Yeah, so we'll see. We'll see if James can seal the deal or if Peen can force the third race.
And looks like they're off. Got that nice 1:08 cutscene here at the beginning. RJ, may I ramble on for a bit during this?
Oh, please.
Okay. So I've put some notes together, guys. I put some data. ClassicJames has been in 7 tournaments of Boogey Percent. So this is his 7th attempt to go all the way. He's never made it this far. He is now 8-0 this year, and with an incredible 8-race average of pretty much a 106 flat. I'm fairly certain that's never been done before. So it's going to be definitely hard to beat for PeenTrain, who's in her 3rd tournament, who's 3rd year here. James is currently 29-10 win-loss, and PeenTrain is 11-6. So James wins almost 75% of the time. PeenTrain wins almost 65% of the time. We'll see what we can have going on here.
I just want to say that James's 106 average for the entire tournament is better than my PB.
And shout outs to RJ. RJ is a past winner in EBSS.
Yeah, that definitely happened. It did.
I don't want to put any asterisks, but you know, James having an 8-race average faster than RJ's PB, I think is a big thing to mention here.
All right. I said it. That doesn't mean you could just harp on it for the rest of the race, okay?
No, I'm saying it's not about putting you down.
It's about building James up.
Yeah.
Yeah. Doesn't take away this thing, though.
But yeah,
Well,
I mean, James was faster. You know?
Yeah, but James is just faster. But hey, I think I beat him in a race, which is statistically impressive.
Yeah, for sure. and that's one of the awesome things about EarthBound is, you know, despite all the numbers that say, you know, James is on a hot streak and James is 8-0 in this year, I still have no belief that James has us in the bag. You know, EarthBound can throw some insane RNG at you, and then PeenTrain can go back and win this match and the next one and actually win the whole tournament.
And there was a lot of moments in the first race where if I believe Titanic Ant, if it would have attacked one of 2 turns, James probably would have died. So it would have been maybe a different race. You never know. Peen could have still died to Car Painter and whatnot, but it would have been a little more interesting.
Yeah, I actually didn't see that. So that, yeah, definitely. I mean, James has definitely had some good luck in this tournament for sure as well. So we'll see if anything comes back at him.
And that's just the power of good luck for somebody as experienced as James. They get a lot of good luck. They're going to take advantage of it and get really good times. Lots of James talk. Peen is definitely a force in their own right.
Yeah, and if I may, Peen actually was the number 1 seed last year going into brackets. So, you know, both of these runners have been number 1 seeds in past tournaments. So neither one of them are you know, kind of a dark horse or anything like that. I mean, I would say it's about time to actually see these two going up against each other. We'll see how that goes. But RJ, I've talked enough. Do you wanna take it from here for a bit?
Yeah. So we're all talking to Dad. I'm actually talking to my dad on the phone too. Don't worry about it, Dad. And they're about to go outside for their first instance of seeing enemies in the race. You know, we've already gone through one cycle of this, so we don't really need to explain too much. But one of the early indicators this hill climb can set the tone, at least for early Onet. Both runners kind of having a little bit going on here. That spawn play giving James quite the trouble. Being a dog multiple times is just unfortunate. Peen's a little clearer walking past the spawn. James also having a good plate there. That corner is like 100% spawn rate. So you're kind of hoping for a couple favorable situations. But this is one of the worst hill climbs I've seen. Like spawn-wise, not what they're doing or anything. Both of them are just getting like constant enemies. But James in the clear, and as is Peen.
It's like the game listened to you and said, you know what, you're right. I'm gonna clear up for a bit.
I need to chill out. This is ridiculous. All right, well, we need to see now who the real winner is whoever has the best Pokeball. James not even trying. I just don't even know how to feel. Peen definitely tried, but honestly, they should just restart. Guys,
EarthBound won that one.
stop the timers. Go back to the house. Try again.
But PeenTrain does have that select glitch going on. In case anyone didn't
theatrics.
hear. Yeah, in case anyone didn't hear on the first match, for some reason, very few things can just give a visual mess up if you have the second controller plugged in, and that's what PeenTrain's doing. So just mashing with the second controller there. Despite this being a glitchless category, that is technically allowed for now. We haven't figured out a reason. Yeah.
Am I
reason.
right? Back down the hill, no spawns on the way back. So just a nice little stroll through Dark Onet. And stop for a little snack on the way.
Ooh, a bread roll.
I just want to know who left it there.
In a present on the hill.
Yeah.
Who's gonna come back looking for it later?
Oh, my bread roll. I forgot it in my present.
Actually, just some mom at Christmas. Jimmy, your present's up on the hill. Go find it.
It's a way to keep the kids entertained for a little while. We got our Starman Juniors going on simultaneously. We just want to try and watch the buzz hits on each screen. 110 for James. Pretty good first hit. Starman Junior has 200 health. 115 for PeenTrain, one-upping James just a little bit.
Anything you can do, I can do better.
But you know, an over 110 hit probably isn't actually that common. So both of these runners, even though they're in good shape for a two-turn, could still probably end up like that, hitting a 57.
That is a low normal hit. At
and 41. Then a 41. Yikes.
Which I think is a high on guard. Yeah. So on guard cuts the damage in half. But you also have some RNG rolls there, so... Oh, but PeenTrain had a fast third. Well, actually, no, they're pretty much tied again.
Yeah, and Peen did have a couple guards from Starman, which like kind of just made it even more close than it already was. They put him like pretty much neck and neck. So 2-3 turns through Starman Jr. Starman Jr. is one of those places that either, you know, can ruin somebody just because of bad luck or bring them closer together in some sort of weird bonding experience through video games that they don't know they're having. And that's what happened. But again, hopefully not to jinx it. Very close together. We haven't had a lot of races that have just been like super neck and neck throughout the whole thing, where they're basically doing the same thing at the same time, just a few seconds apart. We will see who bends first.
I would definitely say I kind of feel like that's the one thing that's kind of missed from this year. Like, it seems like every year or so we get just a ridiculously close race, and I don't think we really had that so much this year.
I feel it just feels like the times are getting better and better every year. Like, people are just getting way more consistent with really good times.
Yeah, definitely so.
Bring in the A games. Because I'm pretty sure like the tournament average for the one I was in was like a 109. There's more people in this one, so I'm sure it's different, but like, I don't know, last year or the year before, the average was like a 108 for the whole tournament, and that's pretty significant when you're factoring in every racer.
Yeah, I've got all the way back to 16 that I can pull info from. In like 2018 and 2019, the just the round robin average was for the winner a 111, and James has a 106 right now, so 5 minutes faster. Where would a 111 even have put you? It would have put you around like 6th or 7th place here this year. And in just 3 years ago, that was enough for best in the group.
So that's also just more or less like how good of a tournament James has had so far. Because like being in 5th or 6th or even 7th is still like the top half of the bracket. So it's still a decent average for racing. James has just been like on this tear, the likes of which has never been seen.
I stopped by one of his streams after the fact, and his prep work, not to make anyone jealous, was not playing the game.
I mean, I support that. The game knows, man. The game knows.
It knows what you want, so the less you play it, the less information it has on you personally. Like, I at one point in time, I started having some weird charges on my card, and I do not know who was doing it. And it might have been EarthBound.
It was Gygus.
It's Gygus. $8 at Chick-fil-A from Greg?
Pogo 1 going pretty well. I think James probably went through a little more HP than he was hoping.
Yeah, Peen grabbed the fruit juice early from the trash next to the arcade, so that's why their fights were pretty much the same, but Peen was a little slower on the jump so far.
I am here for the can of fruit juice.
I am too. I'm a big advocate for it. Trash juice all the way.
Trash juice!
What's Boogey percent?
Bad. I mean, it is basically a race category. It's the glitchless run of EarthBound. The first roughly quarter of it, where you get Jeff, you bring him to Threed, and you take down the Boogey tent, get that fly honey in the trash can afterwards.
I like Boogey for the fact that it's a really good demonstration of everything you would need to do a full glitchless run in this game. All skills necessary are used at least once in the Boogey route.
The Boogey.
And it's a good place to get agitated just enough to quit the game right there and stop going.
Frankie down from both of them, about a second apart.
Not too bad. I don't think either of them had to go through any burgers.
Bean definitely not. Bean still has an extra heal on top of the refresh from the level up.
Yeah. Good call on the life up for James there.
James pushing the roll down counter as always.
13:37, 13:39, about 2 seconds apart. Way to go, runners. These are good times for Frankie's time.
You love to see it.
Yes,
PeenTrain might have been
including-
able to swap a lead a little bit, but opting to be just safe with the heal.
Yeah, I support it. I'm not trying to be first out of Frankenstein.
No.
I'll fight that later, you know?
And we'll see how much
Yep, wanna visit Mom
riskier.
again.
What was that? I'm sorry. I cut you off.
I don't want to visit Mom again in this category.
Oh no.
Yeah,
You
that's
never
my
want to go
goal.
home. You never want to go home. But we'll see if Peen starts to get a little riskier throughout the race, depending on how it is, knowing that they have to win. I don't envision they'll do anything like out of control, nor do I envision James easing off at all.
Yeah, if PeenTrain had died to Frank or Frankenstein, I think she might have considered doing burgerless. I'd be really surprised if she decided to do it in this scenario right now, though.
It's almost
Especially
like-
when they're probably just fresh.
Man, you're like almost asking for it going burgerless in this race.
Oh, James stuck on Bush Boss. PeenTrain's gonna catch up.
Oh, but Peen
other
hit
bush
some
boss.
pixeled on a bigger tree. Oh no. Both of them going for their money so they can buy some burgs.
James took
I-
130 and Peen took 90.
I think we're tied now because of that. Fewer cursor inputs.
Yeah, and Peen takes out the amount of money they would need to buy burgers as much as they would need right now. Whereas if James really felt the need, taking out 140, they can buy a couple of burgers on their way back without having to take out more money. So kind of just a preference thing. And honestly, a lot of people really don't buy more burgers on their way back unless, like, I've rarely seen it. So maybe Peen's onto something.
Shoutouts to PeenTrain, who, during that sequence of, just doing the tech smashing and all of that, actually took the lead from that. It's not something you see very often.
No, and I'm not sure. Do you know if they're both using turbo? Because I know James will use turbo, but only usually if the other person is doing it.
That is correct, and let's find out if PeenTrain uses turbo. Yes, at
Good.
least in like PB attempts. So I would definitely expect that she would be here as well.
Both of them getting their first slug packs relatively easy. P needed a little more time. But James is in a weird mouse situation. That's not going to stick, unfortunately. Meanwhile, I don't know what's going on with PeenTrain, but there's no dead slugs yet, which feels bad.
Wait, but PeenTrain's only getting hit for 3 HP, so it seems her Ness has low offense but high defense.
Her nest secretly hit the gym at some point that we didn't see. Because James is getting hit for 5. Wait, how is oh my goodness. This is one of the worst slug fights I think I've ever. How is only 1 slug dead?
How are you getting put to sleep with 3 of the 4 slugs still alive? They only
Yes.
learned how to put
Bad.
put you to sleep after 4 turns.
Nessa got a little too strong, can't swing the bat correctly anymore because of muscle buildup.
Well, he never could to begin with.
It's true. His technique was questionable from the start. Really unfortunate is Peen is still on their first pack and James is on his 3rd pack.
All right, got through it. Put to sleep twice, but still was able to get out.
Put to sleep twice, and I have to imagine like a handful of misses or just a bunch of low rolls.
Ooh, a 2-pack. Interesting. Tupac.
It's a 2-pack.
You ever wanted to see what it looked like? Right there.
Oh, we're gonna be saying Peen is, Peen does, Peen this, Peen that a lot tonight.
Train. PT.
Please don't ban me, Plexo.
RJ, you're gonna get me sent to the office.
Did PeenTrain even fight the other two slugs? I didn't see that.
It's a really good question. I missed it too, saying what I was saying.
So this is, I think, 10 for PeenTrain, unless she actually did get the other two. This is going to be 20 for James if he can get the mouse away.
Well, it's good they didn't despawn that last slug. Not that it would have mattered. It just would have had to go 4-pack. It's interesting James doing all their grinding, all of his grinding on the first floor.
Yeah, and actually, PeenTrain started to go to the next spawn plate, so I'm actually going to say that this is 16 for her, and she's going to get a 6-pack after this. I hope I'm right.
So it looks maybe James gonna try and get the last pack on his way up. Meanwhile, Peen already going on her way up, and still needs the 6 though. So last pack for James, but Peen still needs to get up there and then find a 6-pack. It's a weird, like, fake lead change almost.
Boy, that is some
That is-
lag that PeenTrain has found.
She decides to take a 3-pack.
Now I have no idea how many slugs she's looking for. James with a offense up by 5 on level 8, that is definitely going to be enough that he can one-shot Antoids in the next section. Makes life a little easier.
So now we'll see what Peen's gonna do here. Or I guess are they still gonna go for a 6-pack? Maybe they needed that 3-pack? I have no idea. Maybe they didn't get that 2 and they were just gonna get the 6 and then kind of make it up as they go.
I'm just gonna stop lying to everyone watching, so everything I say is a lie.
Yeah, to despawn the enemies right at the top of the rope there, you just need to go right below this first little stalactite on the left. Is it a stalactite or stalagmite? I never know which one's on the floor or the ceiling.
I think it's might hit the ceiling. I think.
But either way, Peen is still looking while James is making his way to the ant.
Might floor. So like might floor is might hit the floor or is on the floor and might hit the ceiling.
Might be on the floor. Might be on the floor after it falls from the ceiling.
Stick tight to the ceiling. Ooh, I like that.
What y'all didn't know is that we also like to squeak in a little bit of geology during the boogie races.
Chick.
I just have Bill Nye playing in my head now for our science lesson.
Bill, 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 Bill.
Bill, Bill, Bill.
All right, P's still grinding. James starting the ant fight. Generally, you want to start this fight with a rocket so you can clear out the Lantoids behind Titanic Ant. 102 is a good damage roll on Titanic Ant as well.
Yeah. Ant has 235 HP. Just hoping these two rockets can do as much as they can.
Especially now that the shield's up. 55, kind of a bummer.
Somewhere around 70 HP to go. Oh, and the shield. I didn't catch that. Shield cuts your offense by half.
Shield disappeared. I have to imagine it's like maybe 1 hit or maybe 1 or 2 hits left.
Yeah, I'd probably plan on 2. Should be 1 more.
Yeah.
Okay.
Well, that'll do it.
Thank you.
Possibly a little unnecessary, but it looked cool. Here we go,
Turn
Peen.
still. Yep. Ooh, the Antoid, they're scary. They hit for a lot. They can life up. They can call for help. And luckily, we got really not too many of any of that for PeenTrain.
James saw Antoid E twice in the last race.
Gonna pull another, what I assume to be Antoid over.
Man, this just what it must have been just such an awkward grind with the 2 to start the whole thing off.
Yeah.
And it just comes to a decision. Like usually, if I get like a weirdo 2-pack or something, I'll just kind of look for 4s for the rest of the way because you really only need 22 slugs to get to level 8. So you don't need 6 4-packs. You just need 22. So each runner handles it a little differently, and sometimes it's just super awkward.
So PeenTrain only has 23 offense, so every one of these Antoids are not going to be a one-shot. She's going to have to stutter around him like she's doing here. Good work, though. If you ever watch her streams, I think PeenTrain is like too hard on herself on her stutters. I think they're actually really good.
Yeah, I mean, if you could, doing it is pretty tough. Like, and doing it well on top of that.
That Antoid did not move until she wanted it to. So I call that an A+ stutter personally.
All very solid.
See what kind of amplified she can get. Looking to make us some ground.
Again. Gonna have to go for the life up. Hope that a magnet doesn't happen. Good, I didn't jinx it. Go me.
Big strong hits though from Titanic Ant, which is not amazing.
I think we got around 60 HP to go. That shield's
nice
gonna
smash
be
to get
gone
rid of the
now.
shield.
And it comes right back. Thanks.
Classic Titanic Ant.
Oh, that's a cookie.
No.
Luckily it didn't matter.
In a free turn. Good.
That's why a lot of people, when they get that cookie, will just drop it immediately. If it makes its way into their inventory. Most people will just say no to picking it up if it's full, obviously, but
You abandoned
or just eat it. You might be full, but there's always room for another cookie.
Can't handle the responsibility of the cookie. Gotta drop it.
Meanwhile, oof. I know the save is pretty common with the roll down, but like I just turned to James's stream as it hit 0, and I was like, oh my gosh, and then he was healing, so I got tricked.
Curse.
Yeah, I was like, oh my goodness, my eyes.
Meanwhile, James has no HP, but it's fine.
He's now entered a state called Burger Zombie, and he will fight the remainder of the cops that way. Alright, one more regular cop, one more normie cop.
Yeah, beauty. The cop.
Oh, you like that?
Yeah, easy enough.
Did I say one more cop? I meant Captain Strong.
See if we can't get out of here with a 27 for James. Ooh, all right, decision time. Well, never mind.
no.
That's healer. No decision here. Just yeah.
So for those of you who might not know, Ness's Rockin' can miss, as we've seen right there.
The fact that Strong didn't attack when James had 13 HP was very nice.
So luckily, having 2 Rockins is obviously nice, but you can just mash this out. He only has 140 health. So just like that.
And James did have a 27 on net.
Yeah, just barely. He
Probably
went in
not,
there.
Yeah,
He
not the
went in
strong
there
fight,
saying that he was probably gonna get it. I'm like, there's no way he won't get it. And then he missed his rocket. And I'm like, what is my brain doing? I'm too powerful.
Commentator's curse has now become sentient. It can just think it.
Meanwhile, Peen starting their cop gauntlet. Nice smash.
Yeah, I think that was turn 2, right?
Yeah.
Actually helpful, thanks. Goodness.
probably hoping for a couple more of those to help her get back in this. Or make up some ground. She's not out of it by any means.
Oh, James with a mushroom out of the trees.
It's just the risk you run sometimes with the bottom layer. It doesn't happen often, but sometimes it does, and it feels bad.
Smartly using the burger to heal up so he doesn't either kill himself with his own bat or get killed.
Yeah.
Still at home.
So
now...
James has a mushroom on his head. In the overworld, it just like, you guys correct me if I'm wrong, I think it's every 30 seconds. The D-pad, like, right becomes up, and it just kind of rotates counterclockwise?
I didn't know if it
no
was
idea.
set, but it rotates 90 degrees every 30 seconds.
In the fight, Ness could get confused, attack himself, heal an enemy, those sorts of things. But just in the overworld, it's just you got to rotate that controller whenever that updates and rotates on you.
Meanwhile, Peen using their last burger, opting to go for a full-on life up, which might be a good call. Wow, just bad accuracy luck. 2 misses in a row. Oh my goodness.
James doing a little dance in the middle of the road as that happened.
It's funny, you can see the exact instant the buttons change every single time. Alright, so we'll see how Peen handles this with only 15 psychic points and 59 health, pretty low. I wonder if they got a burger from that last fight and we just missed it.
Yeah, H.
Nice smash.
Okay. We need 60
Smash
more.
is equivalent to like a mid-roll rockin'.
That's
Let's
enough.
go! Just as she drew it up, I'm sure.
Yeah. She had a much rougher net than James, but both were deathless. So, good job to our runners for that.
That's honestly the name of the game, to stay in it too. She'll have to make up ground at some point, but dying will definitely put the nail in the coffin. So, gotta make sure you stay in it.
James's controller is now upside down.
Luckily for James, he only has to make it through the end of this next corridor, and then he can be rid of this mushroom. But unfortunately, this corridor can sometimes be an absolute pain.
I wonder if he actually rotates the controllers or just mentally swaps in his mind.
I 100% rotate it.
Same.
I would be holding that upside down.
Yeah.
All right. Buy my mushroom. Thank you.
$50 and freedom. James going up just to spawn the pencil into the game's memory. You don't actually have to see it. Nice little butterfly spawn too there.
On average for bogey percent, I would say 110 to 120 is the average middling run these days.
Or if you're James, it's 105 every time.
Oh, don't look at that 106 on his chart then.
A blemish.
Yeah, the full glitchless run is significantly longer. I would say you definitely have to make a few attempts and learn from some mistakes to get like below a 5-hour average.
Last match, James got a 106 still, right?
Yeah, so 66 minutes.
A 105.58.
Yeah, so 65 minutes and 58 seconds.
This is not only a racing category. You can there is a leaderboard for this, so you can do independent runs at any time.
Absolutely. Please do. What are we up to now? Let's see.
Well, Hunter, looks, there's lots of handy guides to help new people get into the run. And like I was saying earlier, this run, even though it's only about a quarter of the full run, it'll still introduce you to every technique that you would need to navigate a full glitchless run.
There are 193 entries for Boogey Percent on our leaderboards right now.
That's a lot.
Yeah.
Honestly, the sheer number of people who've done like glitchless and manips run for how long the run is also impressive.
Team starting the fun that is Peaceful Rift Valley. Whole lot of spawns here. There's one.
Yeah, his first corner is often the scariest. But that doesn't mean the rest isn't. This, like the scariest in significant sections of scarier and scarier things. So, like this isn't fun. I wouldn't say this was good.
James checked. I've got them below me and above me, and man, I also have them to the left. So gotta respawn that.
I'll just go back home.
It is an extended category, so if you click that down arrow next to glitchless and any percent, you'll see Boogey Percent come up in one of the extra ones.
And other fun categories like PJ Percent and Photo Percent.
Yeah.
Or no out of bounds. I like that one. That's a fun
That
one.
one's good too. Here we go. Snake not liking the way James was looking, even though it has no chance of winning.
Revenge for its brethren in Onet.
We didn't fight anyone.
That's why it's revenge.
How dare you ignore us? We are many.
You didn't take us seriously. Take me seriously.
Oh boy. James doing some shopping, buying some healing items for the upcoming sections in the shop. PeenTrain got some bananas in the first one. Wonder if they'll do the same thing.
I'm also a fan of freestand. I'm more on the fresh egg side of things, but I respect anyone that does it for bananas. Fresh eggs heal for, I think, around 80 HP, where a banana heals for like 22-ish. So just if you're trying to use a fresh egg for a whole lot of HP, or if you want to use a banana to stay low after the car painter fight and get a much better death warp, you've got options there.
See, we'll see what kind of Peaceful Rift Valley PeenTrain can get here. As I'm saying this, it's blowing up in her face, but if she can get through it relatively quickly, it could help her out a bit. Unfortunately, it doesn't look like that's happening at the moment, but we'll see.
Few people talking about wanting to try this run. I really do. I really do think it's actually a pretty accessible. You know, you're not going to come in here and get a 106 your very first time, but I don't think you're going to like beat your head against the wall with it either. I think it'll be actually a fun time for you.
Well, we actually
And
have
there's a lot of
this tournament with Jimothy. Never did the run before and was signed up by others to do it and did it. Started off with like a 140 and went down to like a 125, 120 by the end of it and almost made it into brackets.
Yeah.
Another snake wanting to pick a fight for some reason. Even though it's not going to win.
116th. There's Timothy.
Hi, Timothy. One more cultist fight for James. James has full HP, but now a second cultist gets called in.
We won't be able to save his rocket, but maybe the damage, a little bit of extra damage that'll happen, might make it a little more convenient through Carpainter, pending, that he lives. It's a big level up. Yes,
Enough for a
so I
rockin'?
actually got the rockin' back.
Yeah. Looks like we'll have James starting Carpainter and PeenTrain starting Shack Fight at the same time. Airframe, I know that y'all didn't really get a chance to talk about Carpainter last time, so maybe we should.
Yeah, let me pull that up. We were talking about Octopus Gal for the whole thing.
So it's a 6-fight scripted rotation. First one is Lightning. We're now on Life Up, number 2. Third one's going to be an attack on nests. There it is. Then we do another Lightning. And James is not going to let us complete a cycle. 4 turns and Carpainter's down.
Followed by that is PSI Shield Alpha, and after that is another attack on Nest, and then we repeat.
PeenTrain getting through with 2 Rockins on the Shack Fight. Very good.
And
So, yeah,
because
with-
James had that big level up before on the single cultist that turned into 2 cultists, he didn't get a big level up on Carpainters, and he's got good health again for the Death Warp.
Yep, James on yet another very good pace coming out of Carpainter. So most of the damage that we do on Carpainter is by those lightning reflects, which each individual one has a 25% chance of reflecting. So if you get 2 of them really fast back to back, you can knock down Carpainter really quick. If you hit 75% chance over and over and over and over, then that's where Carpainter gets to be a little scary. You just run out of healing items to make it to the next rocket or lightning that reflects. Yeah, sub-hour is possible, but it's gonna be close to, like, task level, to be perfectly honest.
Yeah.
Because honestly, the fact that it's at where it's at is impressive in its own right.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, people don't... I don't know. I would say, like, sub 104 is not just something you happen into, even for the best of runners.
So you could continue this route into a full game. The only thing you need to do that isn't really done in Boogey at all is that you'd have to grab an escape mouse after Onet on your way down to Tucson. That's the only thing that's skipped. And then the way you take out money in the department store might be a little altered as well, because you have to be worried about your money a little later, although it never seems to really be a problem.
Yeah, and
That's an
honestly,
hour drop by that point.
I think it's like you lose 30 seconds total by not getting an exit mouse for Belch's base if you walk out the back, or walk back out. So it's not even that huge of a time loss.
True, and if you were really concerned about like a refreshing herb for later, you could get one in 3'd. Good Carpainter fight for Bean.
Yeah, nice lightning there at the end.
I'm sure she's very relieved not to have died this time.
Yeah, she specifically said as she started the race, let's see, where was it? Tell Car Painter to reflect this time. So I think we did it. I think we did it, everybody.
We'll see if there's some dramatics left that could get PeenTrain back into this race. Meanwhile, James is strolling around Tucson, letting everyone know that Paula is with him and, in fact, alive.
We didn't just die to get here. Promise.
Don't worry about it. Hospital's amazing. $100, they can fix anything that's wrong with you. Loose tooth, $100. Dead, $100.
And if that's too much, then you just go back to Onett and it's 50 there.
The socioeconomics of this game. It's fascinating.
Then we got egg math.
I forgot about egg math.
So to explain it, someone got a couple folks got passionate about doing the buy the house percent in Onett, where you race to buy the house and get in there, and some folks did the math of hatching fresh eggs into chickens and selling them. So I think turned out to be a little faster to play the game normally, though.
There's an egg, or an egg. Gosh, there's a house way off to the left side of Onett. And it looks terrible, but you can buy it for $7,500. So the question is, how do I get $7,500 the fastest? You can get back to Onett. Meanwhile, we've got some Runaway 5 music.
Cherish it. It might be the last time we hear it for the season. But we'll see what PeenTrain has to say about that. We know what the mole's saying. Oh, there we go. It's being pretty absent-minded until it decided to just maul Paula.
Oh, you're here. Claw.
Oh wait, I'm not absent-minded anymore. Vicious claw attack. Although if you wanted
What
that big
side
mole
bus
hit
should
on...
James take?
What side bus should he take?
Yes.
Did you say should, Ari?
Yes.
He should take the right side.
There's
Left.
one wrong. There's one wrong answer, RJ, and that was wrong.
It's everything that everybody says that isn't right, Buzz. The one wrong answer is everything else. Buy the house bus.
Yeah, that is
Guys,
left.
Kicked me from the chat yet.
That is left bus.
That would be a statement. I'm gonna walk all the way back to Odette, buy this house before I get on the bus. Excuse me.
now I'm actually wondering. I guess the bus music is not in Onett, right? You go back to Onett music.
I believe so.
James, no.
James, obviously a man of immense culture. He's had world records, so I trust James.
I mean, if it counts, I held a world record too in a category.
Yeah, me too.
It does count.
RJ had
Because I think you both are cool. Oh, wait, so was yours PJ% Hunter?
Yeah, it was. So a meme category, but
Meme in our hearts, but true in our minds. I don't know what that meant. just know that I wanted it to sound impactful and important.
I was impacted.
That's all I could ask.
Yes, it does matter that you have Captain Crunch Adventure World Record.
In fact, some people might say it's more valid. You went out of your way to do something.
I might actually want to look that up now. I am intrigued. Ooh, nasty start to the graveyard.
I felt that one before he even continued. He's like, nope.
Yeah.
It's really bad when you can, like, when we're watching and you can see the lag. Like, feeling it's a little different. You might not visually see it, but you can definitely feel it. But if we can notice it, there's a lot of stuff on the other side of the screen.
It's like one of the rare areas that we can use to really illustrate it to everyone that doesn't have an eye for it.
All right. There's no problem here. She's doing fine.
Here. Oh, problem here.
Yeah, well, to be fair, he did ask 2 rooms ago. He didn't ask if there was a problem in here. She's technically not a liar.
And to be fair, it's also not a problem for her in that room. It's only a problem for Ness.
Also valid.
No problem here.
All right, we're hitting about the home stretch. Winters and Boogey, the last to-dos of the run.
Word on the street is Airframe does not like this next minute or so of gameplay.
I had no idea.
I'm fine with this next 30 seconds.
PeenTrain also winning over my heart while simultaneously destroying Hunter and Airy.
Aww.
Where's attorney admin to DQ them both?
If only there was any of them here.
I know some people in the last match were saying in the chat about Turbo Left Bus, and I just have to say, RJ's distaste for Left Bus is why Turbo Left Bus even exists.
It's a manifestation of all my hatred.
There was one match where me and Heiko were playing, and we're saying on the side, you want to do anything silly to that is equal for both our runs, so neither one of us really changes our advantage or anything. And we came up with Turbo Left Bus, and I will never forget it, and RJ will never forget it either.
I won't. Sometimes I think about it while I'm sleeping. And they're not dreams.
Their experiences.
They're nightmares, Airy. I think, can you buy a sandwich in the department store? Because I think Turbo Left Bus would be ultimately made better by going and buying a snack and eating it.
I mean, there are definitely like burgers and stuff there, so.
I could get on board with a snack, no matter the consequences.
So I didn't go turbo left enough. Got it.
Yeah, it wasn't turbo-y enough. Oh. Oh. Ooh, skip sandwich? Is it gonna work?
It's gonna be close.
Oh, no, that
Oh.
was like a matrix adjustment from that fly. It was going past James. I was like, just kidding. I'm gonna go straight down now. But no harm, no foul. Just a little bit of time loss.
But it really helped with those iframes.
This was running for his life there.
Did that happen to PeenTrain in the last race too?
No problem here.
Yeah.
Somebody got blasted, I remember. Well, luckily, you know, after this section, you come back with Jeff. Paula is revived, so her dying is pretty inconsequential. And honestly, you dying, Ness dying, isn't the worst either. It does put you down there. It's just a little bit of a walk. So if it's like a super quick death, it might not even be that bad overall.
And if you beat the enemy, you get some fire strats, so that's not bad either.
Also true. Oh, I went to look for Tessie face, but we're not in that channel.
Or just make your own Tessie face. I'm doing mine right
All
now.
right. Yeah, I got it.
Oh, I got mine ready.
What'd you do? Buy it? Subscribe.
How's
I love
how's
it,
my
RJ.
book? What a magnificent creature. National Geographic wishes it could do a documentary on Tessie.
So James
Or Nat
is,
Geo, whatever the hipster name channel is now.
James is on Tessie, currently on pace to get right around his tournament average, continuing the insanity of his consistency.
Depending on how the next section goes, though, PeenTrain's not necessarily out of it yet.
Oh, for sure.
Nope. There's a lot of weird stuff that could happen just in here, in Brick Road and in Pond Cave.
I just refuse to say it out loud right now.
Yeah, I'm not wishing any of it on anyone.
But you know, another hour of hanging out with my friends.
It's at stake. It's hanging in the balance. What other euphemism can I say? PeenTrain dropping the defense spray also while doing the bad key, or the bent key menu. Save a little bit of text in the tent before getting on Tessie.
That was a close one there against Protoplasm. One more attack that would have been it on that first one.
Was it
Yeah,
hitting him for 12?
It went 11 and
Believe so.
10. The that failed call for help was also critical. Like if it was a success, it was probably also a death.
I don't know. Does anything feel quite as bad as like the scroll of the called for help text before whatever happens? You're like, and you see the text come up because it's obvious, because it's a lot more text than like anything else, and you're just like, ah, geez, is it?
Okay.
Oh, nice.
Duck skip and Proto 2 skip. So Brick Road was awesome.
Duck skip was pretty easy too, pretty quick. We talk about it every year, how some people get caught in the allure of just doing the skip, ends up wasting way more time than just fighting it. But
Well,
not an issue for James.
Cost fallacy comes in.
For sure. You're like, I'm skipping it, so it has to be faster.
And then the James stutter step in.
Very good.
Stone cold.
And these stutters, like, in any typical situation, either of these runners, you just be like, yeah, they'll nail these stutters. But I'm sure the anticipation of finishing this race is at least sitting there with James. So these might feel like more of the difficult stutters he might have had to do.
That's the last of them.
I'm sure it's not. Yeah, I'm sure it's not helping. For many years, he has been denied entrance into the finals.
Yeah.
And just in case you missed it, PeenTrain getting on Tessie.
Tessie.
Hold on, let me find my Tessie from before.
Don't change it.
No, I'm gonna copy it. I am gonna get this right. There it is. Long nose, little eyes. It looks perfect.
It's beautiful.
Nothing at the
Wow.
top of the
Oh,
rope
where's
for
the
James.
smile?
That's pretty dang good.
So actually, now we're ahead of race average pace.
Yeah, that was an actual, like, nutty brick road and Bond Cave combined. Leaving Pond Cave sub-hour in glitchless is pretty fast. Alright, the only thing really stopping James from getting this is Boogey Tent. The last obstacle in the way. But not before, you know, the world's longest alien spaceship ride.
Oh, I thought PeenTrain had that. Proto skip there.
Monkey just wanted to open the present.
Which is funny too, because you can actually open the enemy presents if you click on them.
What'd you find inside? An enemy!
It's the worst enemy in the game!
It's a protoplasm. Although I think worse is that cup of coffee.
Ugh.
Oh my
All
gosh.
of them. They're all terrible. The record, the coffee, the guitar.
Oh, guitar.
They're all horrible.
Guitar Star's coming out to get you. Or sorry, Guitar Center.
Looks like a good
Should
setup
be
for
a good duck
PeenTrain.
skip.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Do it, PeenTrain. Let's go!
Yes.
Double duck, double proto skip. Stutter everything. Go to Pond Cave and stutter everything.
Just go
Even
around.
the mushrooms.
Go around Pond Cave.
Yeah, just clip out of bounds. Go around to the other side.
Asterisk, don't actually do that.
Why not turn it into an 80% run at this point?
This is gonna be
Oh.
tough, but not impossible.
It's a good setup.
Dazzle us.
Let's go, PeenTrain.
The gauntlet continues.
This is gonna be tight. Oh my god.
Let's go.
Oh!
So what I'm gonna need everybody to do at some point is, first of all, follow PeenTrain and ClassicJames. But the next time PeenTrain is streaming, do us all a solid and go there and tell her that she is good at stutter stepping.
Yes. Just fill the chat with "you are amazing at stutter stepping."
Because that's about as
And
tight
that's
as
what I
it can
bring
get
RJ's
without
message
like
to.
just post that a lot. She'll love it.
Those were textbook stutters.
Yeah, honestly made it look like it was nothing.
Yeah, don't try this at home, please. Take some time to learn how it works, because it's not just like how fast can I tap or anything like that. There's an actual rhythm to it, and it's kind of hard to explain.
And it all depends on your controller, too.
Yeah.
All right, here it is. James grabbing the teddy bear for some safety, making his way down to Boogey Tent.
Making his way downtown. About to be walking fast.
Him and Vanessa Carlton.
There it is, walking fast. Because there's a trick or trick kid on the left.
Oh!
Oh, no!
No! He should be okay. The trick-or-treat kid's not even attacking, just laughing. You run.
Hired by PeenTrain.
We got a few extra levels here.
Yeah, so definitely have fire strats if he really wants to go super safe route in the Boogie lineup, and he'll skip some of these level ups after Boogie, so it's not like this is actually wasting time currently. Just the fight itself. All right, here we go. Just defend,
Good job. defend. About 100
Pretty
HP
nice
to go. So I mean, this is definitely this turn.
Oh, for sure.
50 to go. This fire's enough.
Mm-hmm. There we go.
And James is gonna take it with another 105.
Absolutely bonkers entire tourney. One of the best tourney runs,
Yes, that's gonna be,
if not the best.
that's a 9-0 run in this tournament, where James had a 105, 106, 105, 105, 107, 105, 106, 105, 105.
Truly baffling.
534.
And that brings, oops, I can't do averages on here. That makes the overall 9 race average a 105 for James.
Congratulations. James, do you want to come in and chat with us while we watch PeenTrain finish this up? No pressure.
Pressure!
I'll keep talking. Whether anyone
James,
wants me
come
to
join
or
us.
not. Yeah.
He's on the way.
The limo is coming to pick him up.
Wait, we
The
have
official
those?
EarthBound limo.
I need to try to
Crash
win
that
more.
Runner.
Yeah, it's a perk. I've said too much already. We get to watch our ship ride for the last time. He's here.
ClassicJames.
Hey, can you guys hear me?
Loud and
Yes.
clear.
All right. Well, how you doing, guys?
All right, so answer
think
one
the real
question for
question is-
chat.
Yes.
Are you real?
Yes, I am. The luck I got in this tournament was not real, though. That's for sure.
Truly
was-
impressive.
Yeah, it was the Earthbound gods were definitely on my side this year. So I do feel kind of like I had earned it after the past, 7 years of doing this tournament. But no one deserves luck in Earthbound. It just kind of happens or it doesn't.
Very true. And and I don't think anybody's going to argue with you about putting the time in and just not like having the luck to get to the final part.
Yeah, exactly.
I looked
the
back,
f-
and you were the number 1 seed going into brackets in 2017 and 2018. So, your
Yeah.
second year of doing this, you were already top of the class, but brackets just
Yeah.
weren't in your favor.
Yeah, I had some kind of unfortunate bracket rounds from what I remember. But this year was just crazy. Like the only deaths I had in the whole tournament were proto deaths.
That's awesome.
Yeah, it's crazy. So I obviously feel bad, that Peen got, that horrible car painter in the first race and stuff. Maybe we could have gone to a third race if not. Because was she ahead of me going into car painter? Because I had kind of a bad Onett in the first race.
I think so, by about a handful of seconds, but I honestly don't think it was. It was like your strong fights that separated you. It was so
Okay.
fun to watch.
Yeah. Yeah, it's always unfortunate. You always want your opponent to get good luck as well, so it's more about skill than luck.
PeenTrain is just finished with a very respectable 109.09.
GG PeenTrain. That was a heck of a race.
So, James, are you joining next year? You running it back?
I think this is my retirement. I'm happy. I'm happy that this was one accomplishment I'd never done in EarthBound, so I'm pretty stoked with it, and I don't feel the need to do it again. But I'll definitely probably try to help out with commentary and stuff next year, and maybe I can do one of those secret Racer X things if need be.
Racer X just got a 105. Who is it?
But
go ahead.
Yeah, I don't think I have the need to try to win it again. I'm just really, really happy how things went this year. It was definitely my year for sure.
Very good. Yeah, we've done this. This is the 8th annual Boogey % tournament. We've now had 7 different winners. Only 1 repeat winner. Shout outs to Uko. But I mean, 4 of the past 6 winners joined this year's tournament. But just for one reason or another, they all got knocked out, and James and PeenTrain were trying to get their first win, and James got it.
Well, not just only knocked out, 3 of them got knocked out in the first full round of brackets.
Yeah, so definitely the competition this year, wow, it was pretty wild. I mean, excluding James, even his wild run, it was still a pretty intense tournament with everyone's times.
Yeah, there were some good times for sure. Octo dropped, was it 2 or just 1? But at least 104. So
Let's see.
Crazy stuff.
There's one in the Swiss, and it was a 105 in the bracket. So 104 and a 105.
Yeah. So a lot of solid times for sure. I'm just happy. I got lucky that when I was having crazy good times, I wasn't going up against people that were having crazy good times at the same time.
Mm-hmm.
All right, Airfram, you want to kick us out? Kick us off?
I'll let you two say your last words, and then Temple and I will close it out here.
Okay. Well, I want to take my time to just say thanks to Ari, Temple, and Hunter for every year this gets more and more organized. I don't know, it just gets better and better from an organization standpoint every single year, and it wouldn't be possible without the 3 of them. So appreciate you all, and thanks for doing it for us out of just straight up the goodness of your hearts.
Well, hold on, we got a crasher into voice here.
Oh, am I audible?
Hello.
Hello.
You're live on RPG Limit Break.
I did I win tickets? No. I like to say, first of all, GG to James, obviously, for crushing it for I don't know ever since the Dust Bowl. I don't know ever since that started happening. And second of all, I think this was a victory for me anyway, because not only do I feel like I played okay, but I made it to the finals with a name like PeenTrain. So I think that one in the books. That's a W.
Very good.
No argument at all. Couldn't agree more. But congrats on a really good tournament, PeenTrain.
Oh well, thank you.
You're definitely a top racer in these things, and people should be worried about racing you whenever they have the chance.
You're not so bad yourself.
Well, thank you. Hunter?
You're not so bad yourself. Oh, yeah.
I think
looks like we, yeah.
That's okay.
I'm just scared of that, but
We
I think
did
just
it.
be less scared to say fucking and go.
Reading
for it.
with a party